This is the video to help you identify the range of a quadratic. So it's already been sketched. The quadratic has been factorized to the two brackets and it has been sketched. So the first sketch, we've been asked to find the range if the domain, so this is the domain, is given to be x belongs to real values. So over here, if x belongs to real values, then we are talking about what kind of outputs, so what kind of y's can we obtain for all possible values of x. So as you go along the x-axis and inputting the values into the graph, you will see that you are going to get all the values from the bottom of the graph all the way to the top. So we need to find the minimum point of that graph. So one way of finding is to complete the square. Another way of finding the minimum point is finding the value of x for when it happens. So this time I'll go for that. So x is going to be the middle between -5 and 3, which is -1. So this is the line x equals -1. If we sub -1 into our graph, the equation, then it's going to be -1 minus 3 minus 1 plus 5. So that gives you -16. So this value here is going to be -16. So that tells me that the range is all the values from -16 upwards. So you write it as y is greater or equal to -16. That's the range. Now, if we restrict the domain for values of x that are positive, so we are inputting values of x from 0, not including 0, and greater, then we are only going to be looking at this part of our graph, so only this branch. So that you could see that the range in this instance is y is greater, not equal, greater than -15. Now, if they ask me for the range being less than 0, so if x is less than 0, then we're talking about this side. Then the range is going to go all the way, so you're going to go all the way down to -16 and then up to infinity. So y is greater than and equal to -16. That's the range. Now, in the final example, you've got you're only interested in the graph between -5 and 1. So clearly at -5, you will have the y value 0. You could read it from the graph. Now when x is equal to 1, the y value needs to be worked out. So we'll put it into our factorized form. So it's going to be 1 minus 3, 1 plus 5. So it's -2 multiplied by 6, which is -12. So the mistake people then could make is to write the range is between 0 and -12. And that is not going to be right. You need to consider the graph. So you want to deal with we want to mark the graph from -5 up to 1. And that clearly, when it's 1, I know it's not to scale, but never mind. We are going to hit the point with -12. So if you can see, the endpoint will not belong here to that part of the graph. So what kind of y values do you get? Well, the lowest value is still -16. The highest value, if you keep going on, is going to be 0. So the range here is 0 up to, sorry, -16 up to 0. There you go. I hope that helps.